Hello and welcome to MidVision's webcast this afternoon. Today we're covering the new AWS, that's Amazon Web Services plugin for RapidDeploy. My name is Helen Beale. I'm the Head of Sales and Marketing here at MidVision. Today I'm joined by my colleague Carolee.
Hi, I'm Karol Szepsi. I'm the lead developer on the AWS plugin, and I will give an overview of our product and then give a quick demo about the plugin itself.
So this is a 30-minute webcast today, so we're going to do a few minutes talking about our customers and why they buy deployment automation solutions in the first place, talk a little bit about the cloud itself, and then as Carolee says, he's going to introduce you to the RapidDeploy architecture and then specifically the AWS plugin, which he will then show you. So first of all, why do people buy application release automation or automated deployment solutions? Lots of reasons, but primarily around productivity and consistency. So what we see are customers that some do everything, all of their deployments manually. Some have started to write a few scripts. Some have written lots of scripts, and some have even started to build a tool around their scripts. So to do things like user interface, maybe some self-service, some role-based access, perhaps integrations into some of their build engines or their configuration management systems. And then at the top of the maturity scale, there's the vendor-supported tool like ours, RapidDeploy. And the reason people want to implement a tool from a vendor is they want to get away from using scripts. Scripts are the kind of thing that evolve into a monster. They seem a good idea at the start, but once you create more and more of them, they become more difficult to manage. They're also very difficult to troubleshoot. So there's some benefits and time gains to be had from using a tool that can do things like snapshot and compare and very quickly find any errors or unauthorized change in your systems. Typically also the kind of people that have written the scripts, they tend to be a bit of a bottleneck. So there's normally one person or maybe two people that have created the script engines, and it makes it difficult for other people in the business to do the deployments. And typically those people are very talented, and it's quite an arduous and onerous job, quite tedious working with scripts. So if you can give them a tool that automates that process, then it releases them to do much more interesting things. So this slide here is from Hurwitz's report, and it shows you some of the benefits that some customers have achieved when they have implemented application release automation systems. Again, the main ones are around productivity, speeding up the process, getting innovation to market faster. And then another really big one is around compliance and auditing, so having an audit trail or a history of who's done what, where and when in the system is very useful when you're trying to meet your industry's compliance requirements. This slide, also from the same Hurwitz report, is about the reasons that people chose to make that investment in automating their deployment process or their release process. And again, you'll see the top ones there around reliability and productivity. What we often see with our customers, or actually what we rarely see with our customers, is a standalone automation project. What usually happens is there is another project that drives the requirement for an automation engine. Those projects vary. They can be things like a middleware upgrade, a major upgrade, a migration to a new core business platform, re-architecting environments to move off one operating system onto another, implementing disaster recovery, that kind of thing. And more frequently we see projects around PaaS or platform as a service or private clouds driving the requirement to automate. And people can get the automation project signed off more easily because they're talking about delivering that project initially much more quickly, and then they're also talking about being able to manage those environments moving forwards more easily. So over to Carolee now to talk a bit more about why the cloud and why specifically the Amazon cloud.
Thanks, Helen. So a lot of companies use this cloud, and especially AWS, and they have several reasons to do that. First of all, because it's very simple and it's fast to create new server instances, and it's very flexible. It takes also just minutes to extend your capacity, computing capacity, and also the disk capacities, and just by a few clicks you can do load balancers, set up for your instances, and you can have any kind of operating systems just in a few minutes. So it's very easy to use, it's flexible, and it's also cheap because you are just paying what the traffic for you use. So it is worth to use cloud usually. So next I will give a short overview of our software architecture. We have a plugin framework, which means we have a core application framework which contains the common set of tasks and contains also the environment management and all the cores. And also you can do deployments from the core framework, and you can integrate with third parties, which we have a set of plugins for that. So you have 5 groups of plugins: target plugins, transport plugins, cloud plugins, toolchain plugins, and business intelligence plugins. And today I will talk about cloud plugins, especially the AWS one. So here you can see more details about the architecture. So the core framework is responsible for managing environments and to integrate with third parties, and also to install and patch and deploy applications, and to manage the configuration and the environment, to schedule the deployments and build workflows of them, and also for the environments it's possible to take snapshots, to compare them, to template them, and with this core you can integrate with any plugins we have. So we have toolchain plugins which enable us to integrate with source control manager tools, build engines, and artifact repositories. So it's mainly used by developers to maintain their code. The transport plugins enable us to connect the server to the targets. Currently we have SSH and remote agent. The target plugins contains several middleware products and softwares. So we support a lot of big vendors like IBM, Microsoft, Oracle, Red Hat, and many more. And the cloud plugins enables to use cloud providers, and also we are working on cloud provisioners. And the business intelligence plugins are for attaching utility features for the core, like reporting capabilities. So here you can see how developers and operations team can effectively collaborate by RapidDeploy, because these two teams often have conflicts, because developers making innovation, they are making new features in the code, and operations team are responsible for the stability of the environment. So it often has these two roles has conflict. But in RapidDeploy, as you can see, the developers can manage their code by the build tools, the SCM tools, and the artifact repositories, and they can manage the application in RapidDeploy. And the operations team installs and configures their target environments, and then they can manage it in RapidDeploy as well. And then our application release automation software will push out the deployments to the targets, which is currently talking about cloud environment. So here you can see the continuous delivery, the process of the continuous delivery. As you can see, from the early development stage to the production stage, RapidDeploy supports the continuous delivery process by supporting the development stage, as I mentioned, the SCM tools and build tools, and then the application will be deployed to testing and staging and production environment, and each time there's a testing. So each of these deployments has to be done the same way, and RapidDeploy does it the same way. So you configure what resources should be deployed and with what configuration, and the same deployment process will run on each environment, and it will result the same in each environment. So here you can see what features has AWS plugin. So on the right we have the AWS cloud with some instances there which can be stopped or running, and we have also security groups there and key pairs. And so first of all, RapidDeploy synchronizes all these AWS resources, and then we can create instances from RapidDeploy by choosing the AMI ID and all other attributes of the instance. We can start and deploy to the instance. So that means we will start the instance and we will retrieve the host name automatically, and the deployment will go on that instance. And also we can view the state of the instance and check if it's running, and check the host name and every other attributes. And we can also stop or terminate the instances. We have already scheduled the version 2 of the AWS plugin, which will add some more very useful features like managing elastic IPs, managing security groups, and set load balancer for instances, and also to create an AMI of any instance we have. So next I will show a quick demo about the plugin. I have some previously configured settings. For example, in AWS I have some settings, and also in RapidDeploy I have project setup, and I have an AMI with our agent is automatically starting up. So then I will just go through these configurations, and I will show how to deploy the AWS cloud instance using remote agent, and then also I will show another deployment to a Linux instance using SSH connection. Right, so here's our software RapidDeploy. Now I will just go through quickly the main configurations. So the project is holding some general information, which you can see here. We have an orchestration, which contains the tasks which will run on the selected targets. As you can see, we have a lot of different tasks in different groups for execution, for file management, and many more. Just to keep it simple, I will do two simple tasks. One will check the disk space, and the other will check if a directory exists. And these tasks will be parameterized. I will show where I set these parameters. And for the project, you can set a source control manager tool, artifact repository tool, which are both file system and I could set some build tools, but obviously I don't need it. And as a product, I chose JBoss. So now I will show you that I have two environments. I have one for the Linux deployment and another one for the Windows. So here, first I show how to set the parameters. So as you can see, I have a directory parameter here, which will search and replace with this value when it is running on the target. And also I have for Windows, I've set a Windows path for this test. So first of all, I will do a Linux deployment. Here's the server object. Here's some general information, and you can see here's Amazon IP. So for transportation, I've set SSH. Here's the cloud. I'm going to go and edit. So as you can see, I have to access my Amazon credentials, which you can get from the AWS site. And then you have to choose a region. And then if I click to synchronize, it will get all the resources from AWS site. So you can see in this region I have just one key. But as you see in the US East, I have more keys and some security groups. So now I will do my test in the Ireland region. So I have here two instances. Both are stubbed. This is a Linux instance. As you can see, it is stubbed. So now I can check start instance on deployment. That means it will start the instance and wait for the startup until it gets the hostname, and it will do a deployment to that hostname. So I will save it like this. Now I will run a job on this Linux environment. I will use this deployment package, which I previously packaged. It has nothing special configuration, so I just leave it. I will run this task as root. And click to finish. Now what it does, that in Amazon site you can see here's my two instances, and the Linux one is starting up. So it is waiting for the startup of the instance, and as soon as it is started, it will access that machine via SSH and copy the resources there, and then run the orchestration tasks. So I can check what is going on by the watching the logs. So you can see it is now copying over to the target the jar files, and has finished the job. So I can check the log file what happened. And you can see it just checked the free disk space on the target, and also if the home Ubuntu folder exists. Okay, so next I will do another deployment to a Windows instance. So here I select my Windows server, and in this case I will use remote agent to transport my packages to the target. So as you can see, there are different settings here, and I will select my Windows instance, which is also stubbed. So I just save it like this, or I will start it beforehand because it takes a lot of time. Windows instances are usually slower in AWS than the Linux ones. So now I save it, and you can see on the General tab there are some notifications which says Cloud Server selected. It may have another hostname, which means the hostname is only assigned when the instance has started up. Now I will run another job. Skip the finish. This time when I run an orchestration task on a cloud instance, it checks every time what's the host name of the instance before doing the deployment. So that means you don't have to worry about if it was stopped and started again, or even it was stopped and it is not started, because RapidDeploy will automatically start the instance and then get the host name. So you don't have to necessarily use elastic IPs. You are okay to use with RapidDeploy with the changing host names. So now I check. It is especially slow today, the AWS. It is starting up. So now on the target I have our remote agent has configured that it will automatically start up when the machine has started up. So as soon Windows has booted, it will listen on port 20,000 and it will receive the request from the server so that we can do the deployment. Okay, it should be fine now. Okay, it started copying the sources. It is copying again, just like in SSH, the deployment package and also the jar files. And then it will use a temporary directory to unzip the sources, and it will run the deployment there and clean up afterwards. and you can see it was successful. So I can check the logs again. So it results the same, just for the Windows machine. You can see the disk space and the file exists. So the orchestration tasks were pretty simple, but you can probably see that it is very convenient and easy to use AWS instances with RapidDeploy, because it doesn't matter if you shut down your instance or the IP address is changing, you can still make deployments to your instances, and also you can manage them, start and stop them, create and delete them, and always check the state of the instances. So in the demonstration you could see 2 deployments to AWS instances using SSH and using our remote agent. That was the demo. Thank you for watching.
Thank you very much for joining us. If you want to know more, we do offer a free trial of RapidDeploy for 30 days. If you're interested in getting your hands on that, please email me at the email address you can see on your screen right now. That's helen.beal@midvision.com. Thank you very much.